Hello guys, I am back again. Well, I have stitched it down and I've cut off the excess bits and pieces, like I've stitched it down as an invisible stitch. So I come back in the studio and I'm going to do some, I've sorted out my blues and reds, and I'm going to come back and do some stitching. So I thought I'd just turn on the camera and see how it goes. So you can't see it because I did the invisible stitching in this colour, which is the same colour as the background. That's a little bit longer than what it should be, but that's okay, we'll cut that off later. But yeah, I like that, really like how it's all looking, and so it will look quite nice with a bit of embroidery. I thought I'd start on these ones, and I've got these bits and pieces which I've kept. I've actually got this yo-yo, which is in pinks and reds, but it sort of matches this a little bit, but we'll see how I go. Okay, well, I'm going to zoom it in. There we go. Put that there so I know where to see, and then I'll proceed to do a bit of stitching. So yeah, I'm glad I got it all stitched down. What I'm going to do with the other one, I've put that on there, and I've got to still tack all that down. I may not do too much on the other piece because I like the contrast between that and that. I'll probably put maybe a heart or something in the middle. Still just pin that down. I've got to put some pieces here because it's so thin, just so thin. I need to put something on there, so I might just put a couple of patches, so and just do like a few patches of just some, I don't know, where's that one that I really liked? Yeah, see, I really like this, so I was thinking maybe I could just do a patch and then another patch along here, and just a few little patches in sort of in the reddish tones, maybe. Where's that other one? I like these are the plain, but I love this fabric, so I'm probably going to do a little bit of that, and then I'm going to do a blue heart in the middle there just to match the back. So yeah, see how we go. I might do the blue heart in this, I think. So we've got a little bit of blue, but I like how it's a little bit plain, but it's quite sparse in places. So yeah, see here, you can't even see the wadding. So that's what I'll be doing with that. So I'll probably just do that in the background, because that part's already down. I don't have to do a lot, so I just have to do a few patches. So there won't be as much to do on that one. And then the sleeves, well, that's a different story again. Oh, I got this. I'm going to be using the pearl cotton because if I'm going to be washing this, which I will every now and again, I prefer to have the pearl cotton, because I don't know how the wool will react in the wash. Okay, I've got this and I've got this, two unlikely colours that I thought I would use. This is almost a orangey colour. So what I was going to do is I would like to stitch on them in a similar colour, and then on this one, this is the main blue that I will be using as a DMC. That's what I used in the back, and I've got quite a bit of that. Or I might even pull out a lighter blue, which I may, because I'd like to stitch this down properly. Okay, so we're going to be working with this orangey red. I don't want to have too much because it tends to knot on itself. Get my thimble. So how are we all doing? I'm really loving this project, and I do want to get it, like we are getting into cooler weather, even though today is a bit of a warmer day. We've had quite a bit of unseasonably warm weather this last couple of weeks. So I'm going to start at the point here, and I'm just going to do basic stitching because I want it to just be like it's a quilted piece, which it is. So which will match the background a little more. So none too exciting for you guys, just a bit of running stitch. But you get to see the piece all sort of put together. Yeah, so this side is fairly busy. And so I'd keep the other side a little bit more plain. But I'm glad I got to use some really nice fabrics that I have come across. So, yep, just a basic running stitch, which is a quilting stitch. But I'm not doing it perfect. If you look at some of these old pieces that you do get, and you look at the quilting on it, it's none too impressive. They just, you know, did it like we did it. Just a basic running stitch, and they very rarely do you find a antique piece that's done perfectly, because quilting was about practicality back then, and using bits and pieces, you know, like the feed sack, and you know, what you had. It was a necessarium, whereas now we just do it for pleasure, you know, because we're not in the depression. Well, these days, but my neck, the cost of living is just getting ridiculous. So yeah, it's yes, a bit hard to keep up sometimes, you know, just when you got to pay $10 for a bag of shredded cheese, which is like a bit of a staple in our family. I like adding cheese to lots of stuff, but you know, that's just one item. It's pretty ridiculous. So yeah, it is expensive, but I'd still rather be living in Australia than most parts of the world, even though other parts of the world, like living in Europe, would be nice because everything's so close together. But yeah, I still like Australia, and it's pretty, you know, fairly safe country, like any other country. You got the politics that you've got in other countries, but yeah, basically it's a pretty good country. Okay. Now, probably won't be able to see a great deal of the quilting. Have to make sure that I come underneath. We want it to be held down. This is holding it down extra, but also giving it some nice detail. So even if you look at this, like this is an old, you know, they haven't done it perfectly. The points aren't matching, and you know, it looks like it's on a bit of a lean, but that's the beauty of it. And you sort of wonder, who made this piece years ago, what their life was like. It's now getting a new life. Wonder if someone's going to be pulling apart my work, you know, 100 years from now, and wondering what my life was like. Yes. Okay. Well, at least they've got YouTube to see and pull up, because that'll be on there once I'm long gone. It'll be like the video archives of the world. That's what my hubby says. If anything ever happens to me, he goes, I've got a lot of videos of, you know, I can hear your voice, and there's always some way that you can, you know, listen. Okay. You get quiet when you're busy concentrating. Just got to make sure that I catch the bottom as well. I'll probably notice when I turn it around. Yes, oh yeah, some of it's gotten. You make sure you got to get all the layers. I've got my window open, so you probably can hear a few bits and pieces and noises out there. Bits and pieces, I don't know what the heck that was. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink. Okay. I've also, hang on while I'm here, sidetracked. Got this from my when I went on my travels, and I thought it probably would be nice. So when I went to the craft show, maybe I can put some on there. I think that would look nice. As a, you know, I'm a quilter, sort of a bit of a contribution to, and that might help cover up these little bits too. I think that would look good. Then I can do a bit of stitching underneath there. It's got a little bit of a bit there that probably needs a patch. Wonder if I could put another just to match that. Since I've got this fabric, I should probably do a little patch. There we go. Make it look cute and fulfill the purpose. Could probably be a bit smaller. So, and it will match the other side as well. See, I might, see, sidetracked. I may do that because I thought that will probably eventually come undone. And I will need to do a patch. I like that idea. This probably could be used in the other piece as a tiny little patch. And I am going to stick that on there. May stick it on the other side as well. See how we go. There you go. My first piece from the craft show used. Actually, no. I'm using. I'm using like that. And what else? This I got from Forage that I'm using as well. So I might leave off Just going to pin that there so that it doesn't pin me while I'm stitching. But I just thought I'd let you know, and you probably didn't even see any of that. I'm going to do this along there like that, and then I'm going to put this little patch on here. So as a, you know, a nod to my sewing, which the whole piece is a nod to my sewing, you know, made it all. So, okay, back we go. A minor distraction. Give you something else to look at. Okay. This piece keeps coming around. I think I was using it in my journal, Roxy's Journal of Stitchery piece, the still life. It's been floating around. I think it might have been the bit that was left. I was using on my roses. Well, I've finished the ceramic or porcelain prompt. Did that fairly quickly because I had the piece already. So I just did that in one sitting. Now I'm just waiting for the last one. And still have a little bit more of the flowers and leaves to do. I was thinking with the leaves, you know, not to do as much. I might leave some because we want to get this baby on the wall. So there's the water running again, doing washing again. There's quite a bit that I've fallen back on. I've got 4 adults living in the house. It can accumulate, but you don't have as much as when the kids were little, because you know they're constantly, you know, sometimes had to go through 3 changes of clothes in one day when you got babies. Okay, I might finish that off, but I won't go across and use this. Yeah, real orangey red. You can sort of see it on the white. Okay. Do we not? Which didn't seem to work the first time. Okay, we start there. That way, if it happens to go around, I'm at least back where I started and I can go across, but I think it might be enough to do the one, unfortunately. Yeah, so yes, it's a I'm really loving it. So much enjoyment out of making this because the colours are really nice, and they're, you know, each of the panels are separate. It was when I did the other piece, another jacket that I did when I was with Corinne, and then finished it off at home. The jacket's in one piece, whereas this is great because you can do it in separate pieces. Work your bit at a time, and then I've still got to do, you know, make the lining, which is basically the same pattern for the inside. I'm just going to use, I've got a bit of fabric in sort of like a blue and cream, blue and white. Got quite a bit of it. I think it might be from an old Doona cover or something. So I'll just have that on the inside because it's not going to be reversible. I'm going to be wearing it just this way, especially when you've done all this work. I do have plans, you know, that Kath Kidson fabric that I've made for the, you know, fabric book kits, and it was an old queen size, not queen size, a king size quilt. And so I made up the packs and some bigger pieces that I had put aside, and then I'm like, it's double-sided and it's already quilted, so I might just cut out some things and have that and turn that into a jacket. And I may not have to do any stitching on it because the pattern is so pretty. It just make it into a jacket, and if I choose to down the track, I could probably do a bit of adding some bits and pieces to it, but it's such a pretty fabric, and it's got a sort of like a pinky gingham fabric on the inside, so it's already lined, so I don't need to do a lining. Here, not that much left. Might get a couple of stitches. Might as well. Not much. Okay. At least it's away from that. I better finish off. It's away from that join. Okay. Pretty. Yeah, so when you see it underneath, yeah, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's some sort of basket pattern. Quite an old pattern. Oh, sorry guys, knocked it. Oh, still. Okay, just a little bit. Where are we? The trouble when you put stuff on these, well, I like to get the plastic ones, they tend to break. I don't need too much. You get a little bit extra because you've got to tie it off at the back. So you're just stitching along, have me in the background yabbering away while I'm working on my piece. Might do a few more fancier stitches when it comes to going around there, but even then I'll probably just do a lot of, you know, basic stitch. Might do something along there, but even then a running stitch might be the go, or even a fly stitch. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know. Running stitch just seems to work. Let's see, it's not really that hard when you think about it. And the basic stitches that you need, just a running stitch, French knot, you know, lazy daisy, blanket stitch. You'd only need a few basic stitch. You could get away with a running stitch for everything really, and a French knot, because I run like a straight stitch, seed stitch. It's all basically, seed stitch is really simple and it's very effective. Don't need a lot of knowledge on these fancy stitches. It smells so good. Okay. Actually quite like that. You can see the red going on the blue. It's a real powdery blue colour. I might have to find, I like matching up the colours. I have to find a powdery blue colour. So you're just working with all shades of what you've already got. I never would have imagined using this orangey red, but it's perfect. That's the colour. You've got your different shades of all the different reds and blues. Okay. And one thing about using the DMC, not the DMC, the pearl cotton in a lot of the old pieces, like you can see with here, they stitched it together using really thin and then just looked like stranded cotton, so hand pieced it with the stranded cotton, and then when they stitched it, it's stranded cotton. And yes, it's quite old because it's fallen to bits, but at least that's not going to come apart because it's a little bit thicker, which will work. I mean, you know, wear and tear. Whereas they would have been just from quilts that were on the bed used every day, and you get a bit of wear and tear. Whereas this will be a jacket that I don't wear every day, so it'll last the test of time. Okay, last bit. Okay. Oh, none too yappy. Lynn made this for the girls at the retreat. Was it Lynn? No, Carolyn, I think. Yeah. Okay. Now I might wind that back on because you never know what you may need it for. Some of those little these ones look like they might be that colour. I reckon that one. Yeah, it's a little bit, yeah, that's definitely a red, whereas that one you could use that. They smell so good. Okay, just love the fabric softener she uses. Now, okay, now we're going to be back with a bit of blue. When I stitch this down, I made sure I stitched that down, so when I do, you know, some stitching along here, I'll have to maybe do a blanket stitch or a, you know, stitch that's going to hold that down a little bit more. So I'm going to be doing this. Oh, I thought there was a bit that was already on there. Let's hope it's enough. Okay, well, I'll have a look how long I've been yabbering for, and stitching. It's already been nearly 30 minutes, so you can barely see it, but it's there. Looks so good. I just love that. So as you can see, you know, it's not gonna be a quick project, but it will get there. So I might start here and I'm not going to go up there because it's supposed to look like it's one piece. So we will start here. Yeah, because it looks like it's a basket. But I will, when I get to here, this needs a bit of a repair. Stitch that. I might come in there and just do a stitch or two. Maybe with this, because it's in that blue. Might have to come back and then stitch down. Okay. Have to make sure I get all the layers. And making sure it's got a crease when I come down to iron. Probably have to give it a good iron. Okay, well, I will say goodbye. This is just a fairly quick video. I was doing stitching anyway. I may come back down just to add that to there. Hold that down a bit. There we go. Yeah, just I thought I'd just turn it on and sit and yabber with you for a bit while you're doing your stitching. I know I do that with some of the other girls, and you know, you just sit there and they're just busy stitching, and so you put your head up every now and again when they say, look at this. It's the only way you get through any of the videos that you're going to watch. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, because it's got edging. Going down, come back up. Building a community centre down the road. You can hear all the clanging and banging. Okay, yeah, so I'll go to here, then I'll go back up because it's a little basket. Could always do a little, I have done it already. Invisible stitch, you can see that's being held down by that, so not too worried about that. Okay. Okay, well, I'll leave it at that. Just thought I'd turn it on and show you the finished invisible stitch piece. So I did choose to keep it. I like that. I think having that little piece on here and that is going to balance that out a little bit, and then I'll do a stitch along there in a colour, and then I'll probably do maybe, you know, a couple of crosses and stitches as well. Yeah, see, a cross stitch, that's another stitch that's, you know, a really easy one that makes something very effective. Okay guys, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to me gas bag. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.